Now, with the rise of future technologies, there's been an ever-present worry about the impact on jobs. Will machines do in the future what humans do now? It's a concern of IBM's chief executive, Ginni Rometty, who thinks a lot about these things, especially with a workforce of several 100,000 people. In today's CEO Spotlight, I talked to Rometty about how IBM approaches, well, the human capital element of disruption.
There's no doubt we're in a digital era. And there is no doubt in my mind that this technology will change 100% of jobs. Now, I said change.
100%.
Because there's a lot of people that want to talk about this job will go away, that job will go away. To me, that isn't the issue. The issue is that it's going to change how you and I do our work. Almost all of us are going to interact with these technologies, and it's happening fast. And so I consider the word responsible stewardship. So it's one thing to make these technologies, but if you make them, you better bring them safely into this world.
Yeah.
And part of that means you prepare society, your own people, and then the world at large. And when I say that, the part I worry the most about is this can't be a world, cannot, where it all goes to the few people, where the benefits do, and that you have to have a college degree or a PhD. Now, I have an entire workforce of that, but that can't be the world. And this is, to me, why you start to have and have-nots, and this is what's led to a lot of unrest in the world, where people go, you know, my future is not better than the current. So I want to change. I don't like this anymore. So we are really focused on both that reason that society wants these technologies and sees goodness in them, and then the second thing's got to be that, hey, we have a workforce shortage. There's 2 million cyber people missing in the world that are needed. So this commitment on skills, both for my employees, but broader. So let me first do the broader and then come back. The broader has been about how do you make this an inclusive era?
Yeah.
Point blank inclusive. So that's apprenticeships. This is returnships for people who've left the workforce and are afraid to come back. But we've also started something called New Collar, and we're working with 500 companies around the world. Think of it as a 6-year high school. 4 years high school, 2-year community college. You get your high school and associate degree at the same time. And we've been at this 8 years now. 150,000 kids around the world, 16 countries coming through these schools, almost all first generation, never gone to university before, no one in their family has. And 15% of my hiring in the US last year were these young people. And this idea that they do great cloud work, cyber work, by the way, and many of them end up going back to school for their 4-year degrees in parallel. It's about this country where there's a will, there's a way. And so, but this is also solving a need I have.
Yeah.
And so we're making and taking a whole swath of society that otherwise might not have seen themselves in the digital era into it. Now I flip to my own employees. We invest about $500 million a year. But I will tell you, this has been a really interesting journey. And today, I can tell you that 8 out of 10 IBMers have the skills not just fit for today, fit for the future. And so this has been all about actually moving skills to the center of your people plan. And not all companies are like that. This is not just education. It really starts with telling people, first, be transparent. Is your skill going to be in demand in the future or not? Is it abundant or scarce? And if you know where you fit there, and then line up how you promote and reward people against that, so it kind of makes a natural thing that people want to move. And then, the world is so consumable, you got to make career and education as easy as your Netflix. And in fact, our learning platform, it's learning on Netflix. I mean, it's not Netflix, but it looks like it. It knows who you are, your role, and we have got 50,000 people a day taking education in that way. And
they're comfortable, they're not worried, particularly the older generation of people.
Look, this is an interesting point you make, because now that we've been through this transformation now, it's been a good 6 years now, I can tell you with 100%, it is age irrelevant, that people are able to move to new skills independent of age. And the number one thing, it's changed the number one thing I hire for. The number one thing we hire for now is propensity to learn. Because it does not matter about age. It is about, if you think of it now in tech, the half-life of a skill is less than 5 years. So if I hire you with a skill today, it's not going to matter in a very short period of time. So I want you to be curious and want to learn. If you are, no worries, I'll take care of the rest. And that, to me, is a profound point, and I think it's what every company needs to look at.
Is it something that you're talking about with other executives as you meet your clients? And I know it's something that actually IBM's done a lot of research on, talking to executives and finding out what their main concern is, and it seems to be talent.
It is talent, and I just I had kicked off the Frankfurt Auto Show, and while I did talk about technology, one of the things I really dwelled in on them with is about these skills, because there is a perception that to get the new tech skills, you have to buy it all, replace or buy it all. That's wrong, because there is this intersection that people have to have of actually knowledge of an industry and process and the new skill. And so you do have to look inside, outside, but then you have to create the skill that is integrated here.